it's Karen from Liongate Farm, and today I am going to teach you how to make this garden bunny, which is perfect for spring decor. But we're going to go one step further. I'm going to show you how to make these nifty coffee filter cabbage leaves. We're going to start with that, so let's get busy. Okay, the first thing you want to do is put on some gloves. Otherwise, you will have green hands. Then you need a stainless bowl because it doesn't stain. Ha ha, no pun intended. All right, I have 1 cup of water. It can be cold, it can be warm, doesn't matter. 1 cup of water. So I have a couple different colors here. So I have like regular green food coloring. I have neon green food coloring. I have some metallic paint, green, dark green, and then I have some true green, just acrylic paint. So what colors you use will determine what color your leaves come out. So these ones were done more with the metallic paint and the acrylic paint. And these leaves were done more with the food coloring. So we're going to do like a mix today. So first you need the 8.5 inch basket coffee filters. You know, just plain old coffee filters. Inexpensive. And where did I learn how to do this? Well, I made 1,000,000 flowers for my daughter's wedding. So I kind of know how to do it. Take some scissors and you're just going to cut wavy. You know how cabbage leaves look? They're just wavy. Just cut these edges off and make them all wavy. That goes in the garbage. All right. So now you have, they almost look like flowers. And you're going to take them and you're going to scrunch them up. So pick them up from the middle, scrunch them. You know, I think it doesn't really matter how you scrunch them. I just know they have to be scrunched. Works better. So just take however many you want. I saw this really cool thing where you could start with a little soup can in the middle and actually make a whole head of cabbage. That would be way cool too. Okay, so we got them all ready. Now we're going to add colors. You got this, Cannon? So a couple drops of green food coloring. Let's get crazy and do a couple drops of neon. And then a little bit of paint. Oh, whoops. Not on my table. Oh, well, won't hurt anything. A little bit of paint. Blooper. It's blooper time. And then let's put in a little bit of green. It really doesn't matter what you put in there. So I'm using a spoon that I don't use for, obviously, for food. But you can, you know, it's an old spoon. You just want to dissolve all that color. Okay, so the next fun part, hold on a second. I really don't want it to stain. All right, there. Is you just start sinking these in. It's really kind of cool what happens. You just scrunch them all in here. And you're going to have extra. I only used a cup of water, but you watch what happens. I'm going to get it all back. So look at how fast this is. So what takes the longest, oh, there's one in there still. Squeeze them all out. What takes the longest when you make these is letting them dry. So I use a garbage bag because it has these little textures on it. I don't know if you can see the garbage bag, how it has texture, because when you lay this on there, we're just going to lay these out. I mean, this is a crazy little craft, but it's so fun. I ripped that one. It doesn't really matter. Cabbage leaves have rips. So you can see why you wear gloves. You can see my gloves are getting all green and gooey. I like the variegated greenness, and we're going to make more variegated greenness in here to make them look like leaves. I'm just spreading them all out. How many did I do? A lot. Oh my goodness. So the bunny that is sitting there, he has only 6 leaves, but I feel like he needs more. So there's a couple ways you can get more color in here. One way, here, we're gonna move that over. I had these tweezers here because I was picking them up with my bare fingers. All right, one way is you could take more food coloring and just drop it on the leaf. Watch what happens. And then scrunch your leaf all back up. And it will do this. And then you could add neon to it. You could do it with your fingers. It doesn't really matter. You can do it all different ways. Be creative. I really like the color. The neon comes out kind of yellow. Coffee filters are pretty tough. So I kind of like that. But the other thing you can do now, okay, I got to be careful of this paint because I have a little paintbrush here. Doesn't matter what kind of paintbrush. And go in your paint and you can just add it to your leaves. Again, you can just put it on here and scrunch them up. You can, hold on. I'm gonna mix a whole bunch of dark green in this water. Actually, there's too much water. Too much. So wait, let's take a little bit out. And let's add a bunch to this so it gets dark. Darker. Today is Karen's craft show. My little plastic container is like something, and then you can go along the edges. And it'll just suck in. Another way you can do it, which I don't have an example of it, is with the spray. Put some in a spray bottle and spritz it on. But if you just do the edges and see how the bag is giving it texture, the wrinkly plastic bag is giving it some weird texture, which is kind of fun because, you know, they're leaves. Just do this. Okay, so then once you're done and you have them all done, you just let them dry. You can hurry the process up if you're impatient, but I want to caution you if you do this. You must pay attention. You can put them on a cookie sheet and put the oven on 200 and it will go way fast, but you cannot walk away from them unless you want to burn your house down. So see how there's wrinkles in here? You can follow the wrinkles. You know how cabbage leaves have wrinkles once they're cooked? It's kind of fun. Anyways, so this is how you make the silly cabbage leaves. It's pretty fun. You can fling the paint on there. Anything you want to do. So, just a silly little thing to add multimedia to your felted projects. So now let's go make us a bunny. Okay, so we just made our cabbage leaves, and you want to do those first because you want them to dry. It's going to take them a couple hours. So now we'll go back to the cabbage leaves in a little. We're going to make this cute spring bunny, which can stand on his own. My inspiration for this bunny shape, it's like a chocolate bunny that you get at Easter. And except we made him into a spring bunny. He's very cute. So this guy lives on my tiered tray in the kitchen with all my other stuff. So let's get started on him. He's pretty fast. What takes you a long time is, again, just making him kind of solid. So I'm going to sit him right there for right now. You need, it's 1.1 ounces of core. I actually weighed it. Be impressed. You don't use it all, but almost. You need some Snow White for his belly, some Raven for his eyes and his mouth, and your top coat. I'm using Jackrabbit today. The Jackrabbit is kind of fun, but once it's gone, it's gone. It was a limited edition that my supplier has. Then you need white curlies. You can use gray for his tail, some white curlies. These are actually silver. And then your choice of colors for the flowers. And I'm not going to lie, the flowers are tedious. So we probably won't do all the flowers today, or we'll be here for a couple hours. Because, you know, to make them look good, you have to really poke them. nice, but your choice of colors. And today I have a conglomeration of bright colors to go on the jackrabbit because it's a little darker than the dark fawn that I used. I have green, I have locks of all kinds. So we'll put those aside and let's make a bunny. You need a skewer. Probably want a ruler so you know what you know your sizes. There is a template. I have scissors for trimming hair. No pun intended. We do have a template. Cannon will post this in the group, and hopefully this week it's on my list, barring a lamb storm, to get all my templates uploaded to the website, to the liongate.org. Okay, so Corwell, let's get busy. So first, and I want to show you this on the template so it makes sense. This is my skewer. Okay, we're going to make an egg shape on the end of this skewer. That's the same size as that head. So split your roving, your core, and your head is about 2.5 inches. So figure out where 2.5 inches is on your skewer. It's about there. And one end needs to be the narrow end. My narrow end always ends up at the point. And then we're going to come back. So basically, it's like making an Easter egg, only a little bit smaller. I will refer back to the template here in a minute. So let's secure this. Get that other piece we broke off. Compare the bunny's head to the template. I know you can make these smaller or bigger too. But compare the size. We're about there, which is, he is, did I not measure that? The head is 2.5 inches wide. I don't think I measured how thick it is. So before I pull my skewer out, I'm kind of making it look like an egg. Cannon came in the house and Stewie came running in the house. He's like, my friend is here, my friend is here. Compare to your template. All right, I'm going to pull my skewer out but I'm going to use it again. So let's solidify this into an egg shape. Not a pointy egg. Bunny's nose is round, kind of round here. One of the most often questions I get asked is what size needles are in the multi-tool. So I like a 38 star spiral or a 40 spiral. I can tell you I finally know what comes in the Clover pen, and it is a 40 triangle. Yes, I do. I finally found the answer to that. And I found that through the manufacturer of the needles, actually. It's kind of interesting. My friend Janice loves 40s. She uses 40 for everything. It's too slow for me. I like to go faster. All right, so you keep comparing your head. And once you have your head that's pretty much the right size, now we are going to put our skewer in his head. About 1 inch back from the back side. This is the back of his head. This is double duty skewer. And we're just going to felt around a little bit more, leave the skewer there. The skewer isn't going to live there forever, but we're going to build our body on it and attach it to this head. The end result of your head has to be kind of firm in order to sculpt it. Now also remember, make it the size of the template because you don't want it bigger because the top coat's going to make it bigger when we put it on. So the next part is the body is 4 1/4 inches to the neck. And you should have about 1/4 inch that sticks out of your skewer. My skewer's at 4 1/2. So we know we're going to use most of this skewer. That's important. That way it gives you a guide on how big to make your bunny. So when you look at this guy, he's not round. He's flat like a chocolate bunny. He's flat like a chocolate bunny. Unfortunately, he's not hollow like a chocolate bunny. Oh, I hear lots of sirens. That's unusual. So I'm going to secure this to his head. That's our first step in attaching the head. I'm going around the skewer and I'm attaching right here. That will help keep his head on. So we had our first lamb last night, and he was a doozy. He was a doozy, and he had a heck of a go, let me tell you. He was stuck because he weighs 22 pounds, and she was not built to deliver a 22-pound lamb. Oh my goodness, it was kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. So remember, we're only going down here and go back. You know how your projects tend to grow. So you only want a little bit sticking out. So at first we're going to wrap around. Wrapping around. And the skewer has a tendency to want to spin out of the head. So keep attaching that head. Okay, we're going to take some more. So the neck ends up probably, well, I didn't measure that. I measured everything else. The neck ends up about 1.5 inches wide. But you always can store your extra down here because you know he is going to get wider. Let's flip it over and do a little poking on this side. See how my roving went past the end of my skewer? So this is where you're going to start going up in there to keep it safe. So now I want to start building. I'm going to gently wrap it. Gently so that I can squish it flat. Okay, remember you have a skewer in there still. We're not taking it out quite yet. So as you wrap, you're making him flatter. I thought about making one of these out of dark brown so I could have a true chocolate bunny in an Easter basket. It'd be kind of cool. Kind of cool. So I've made a couple of these, so I kind of know how much I need to wrap. But remember, I'm doing it kind of loose so I can make it flat. About to lose my skewer again. So the bottom of the bunny is 3 inches wide. The bottom is 3 inches and I am at 2 inches. So I'm going to make this wide enough to be 3. I'm about there. Again, we're still going kind of flat. And you know, the Easter candy is in the store, so you could always go buy a chocolate bunny and look at it if you need a reference point, because then you could eat it. Do you know what John did last weekend? It's hilarious. He cannot walk by Girl Scouts with their cookies. He can't. Have you noticed they're out?
No, I haven't seen him at the stores yet.
What?
I haven't been to any stores recently.
Oh, okay. So he cannot walk by these young ladies. He just cannot do it. And so he's bought many boxes of cookies.
Wow.
And he's eaten many boxes of cookies. So the last ones, we were over at Coastal Farm and Ranch store, and we walk in and there they are, and I'm like, uh-oh, you girls, you got a sucker right here. So I kept on my merry way because I knew he was going to stop, and I don't want any more cookies. And so I'm in the aisle with the garden plumbing, and I hear John in the next aisle giving his box of cookies away to a little girl because he doesn't want to eat anymore. So he's buying them because he can't walk past those girls. That's what happens when you have two girls, growing up with you all the time. He's a sucker. Our girls had his number. Okay, so right now it looks like an alien. Looks like an alien. So we're going to get that worked in. So guess what? I lost my skewer. So now I'm going to poke on the bottom. I like that the skewer gives you a point at which you know you're not to go too far. We're about ready to take it out, to tell you the honest truth. So this body needs to be pretty firm. So let's compare it to our template. Let's see where we're at. Let's see how good I've been doing. So we have our little alien body. And see, I'm even a little bit big, so I'm going to poke up that way. I'll take my needle. And according to the template, I'm a little bit tall. So to make it shorter, I'm poking up the bottom. Remember, the bottom's going to end up flat so he can stand up. Keep comparing. You can see we're not rounded out yet. That's what we're going to do next. Man, he does look like an alien. Okay, now we're going to pull our skewer out. The head should be mostly attached. Let's work on that a little bit. We're going to work on getting all of this attached to the head. We got to get him less alien looking. So let's build up the back of his neck. So now we know that the bunny, I'm going to start poking this back in here. He's going to come in here. And we need him to have a little tiny butt out here. So I'm just going to take some fiber and build this up right here. Because I don't want him to get wider, because remember, he's a chocolate bunny. And he's a little bit tall, so I'm gonna, oops, school's out. School bus went by. I can set my clock by that school bus. It's pretty awesome. He goes by at approximately 4 o'clock. Yeah, it was supposed to rain all week, and it is glorious outside. Oh, and this weekend's supposed to be 65. And then next Wednesday, it's supposed to snow. It's Oregon. Kind of crazy. So at the bottom of the bunny, we want him to curve. So we're going to work that up. compare him to my template, he still needs a little belly out front. And notice I still have quite a bit of core wool left because my bunny is still squishy. I just placed that over the front of him. You can see he's already starting. I mean, just those 2 additions on the front and the back. You know, this bunny's nose might be too long. I can fix that. So we almost have his shape. So now we're going to take a little bit of core. We're going to come around here at his head. We're going to fill this in and build out this little cheek just a little bit. So we're going to sit and we're going to work on this bunny for a while and get him all nice and smooth and matching the template exactly by poking. And if we need to add more core wool, like if you poke his belly and it shrinks down too far, just add some more core. But our job right now is just to solidify this shape. And it's going to take probably a good half hour to get it all nice and firm and smooth. And you want it nice and smooth or the top coat won't look good. So I'm going to go away and I'm going to leave you poking. And then I will come back and we will start with the ears on the bunny for the top coat. So I've been poking for about 30 minutes. And you can see he shrank. He shrank, and I used up most of my core wool, and he's pretty firm. He's still thin, matches my template exactly. And that's what we want. So let's make an ear. So take the top coat color of your choice, and these ears end up probably 2.5 inches tall. So you're gonna make an ear, you're gonna go like this. And you guys, I'm going to tell you, I cheated already. I already have one ear made. So I'm going to make it the same size as this ear. Sometimes I'm going to tell you we do things to save time. So that we don't have to bore you with like making 2 ears. I think in the last video, I was telling you guys I want to make these 2 new gardens out in front of John's wedding venue. And they require that I get 2 wagon wheels, old-fashioned wagon wheels. And can I tell you how excited John is to get up? And we have to be in Cave Junction by 8 o'clock on Sunday morning to pick him up. I found some. But we can have breakfast. I promised him breakfast if he would do it. Because we have to tow the trailer to get it. It's going to be cool. I'm very excited about it. And then we'll just have to build the garden. And I have to get the plants. And when I say we build the garden, it means John builds the garden. I supervise.
How big are these wagon wheels?
42 inches tall. Yeah. I talked to the guy this morning. He's like, yeah, my son said you were going to call. I said I was going to call you, but one of my sheep decided to have a lamb that was ginormous, and I was awake most of the night, and now I've just been out there trying to make sure she stays healthy. So for those of you who don't raise sheep, what that means is When you have a lamb that's that big and they get stuck, you have to assist pulling them out. And how hard did I have to pull? Oh my goodness, my arms are so sore today. I mean sore. And I do a lot of stuff with my arms. But my shoulder especially, I'm like, oh my gosh. I tried to call John on my cell phone. It was 11 o'clock at night. Of course, he didn't wake up. He's way stronger than me. It probably would have went faster. But you can't just rip it out of there. You have to go slow. But it wasn't budging. I was very worried. But finally, he decided to pop out. It was crazy, just crazy. 22 pounds of a lamb. Normally they're between 12 and 14, so he had a good 10 pounds on his average weight. And I mean, it's like she had a small pony. He's huge. But he's out there bouncing around, jumping on mom. He's nursing good. But anyways, when you pull one out like that, sometimes they will expel their insides. It's called a prolapse. And I had that happen the last lambing season we had, and it's a very horrible thing. And I have PTSD. So I've been babysitting her like mad all day. No, don't do it. Because she's one of my favorite sheeps. She is one of my favorite. So you saw I just put the white inside the ear. Now the next step, let me make sure I'm the same size. I am. The next step, we're going to fold that ear in half, poke it together for about 1/2 inch. We need these. Ooh, this guy looks smaller. What did I do? I went too far. Okay. Don't go a whole 1/2 inch, but we do want this flat poked together. And now they're going to go on to the rabbit. One on one side of the head. The reason we're putting these on first is so then when we cover his head with his top coat, you are not going to see these anymore. Poke it all nice into the head. So Kenna was saying, do we still need these scissors? Yes, look at, so we're going to trim these fuzzies off. Just makes the ears look so much neater. There. Trimmed off the fuzzies. Secure these a little bit more. So the next color we're going to do is the white. You don't have to use white. Now, this guy, I went up to his chin. You see that? So we can do that. We're going to go up to here. And we're just going to put white all over his belly. Put the white on first so that I can gradually add the body color, and it blends in when we do that. So you decide where you want your belly to be. I like it to be in the front. So this is where he deviates from a chocolate bunny because they don't have white bellies. So technically you wouldn't have to do a white belly. It just gives it some depth. Remembering when you're covering core with white, it's a good idea to walk out the door. Make sure you have it all covered. Although in this case, I don't think it'll matter. And we're going to go to here. I think I talked about this, but make sure this is nice and flat and firm so that he'll stand up on the table. Okay, so we have our white. Now, you're probably going to think I'm crazy, but I don't poke it all the way in yet. I'm going to put my white aside. Now I'm using that Jackrabbit color. It's kind of cool because it's variegated. It's got black fibers. It's got tan fibers. So when I say blend it in, I'm going right over the top of the white with the fringe. And I'm going around all the way down. That's what you want to do. And you're going to cover the bottom, and let's cover the head too. So on the top of the head, go over top of these ears. I like to come down the middle. And you want to come right to the bottom of his nose there. I like the fibers to be going front to back, because that's how rabbit, the actual hair on rabbits runs, and it doesn't go around the head. And once we poke it, it will be pretty solid. I know this looks like a hairy mess right now, doesn't it? I like to place it all on and then just poke it all at one time. You can see it's totally starting to look like a bunny. It's starting to look like a bunny. So on the side of the head here, if you feel he needs more cheek, let's just make a little stack and add it right there. If you feel his cheek needs to be a little bit bigger, and we're just going to keep going around and covering this whole bunny with our color, and then we're going to poke it smooth. That is the key to making your project look fantastic, professionally done. So let's just keep adding and poking, and this will all blend in together. And our chocolate bunny will be ready for his eyeballs. Okay, I have the bunny almost done with his top coat. I'm just smoothing out his chin. So I had the chin come up that far. I like it to be a little flatter right here. Under his chin. This guy's got like a mouthful of jelly beans. Okay, so let's look at his face. Center is here. We know his nose will be there. I'm just making a V. I'm poking in a V where his nose is going to go. Your head has to be solid enough to support this sculpting. If it's not solid enough, stop what you're doing. Go back and continue making it more solid. And then we have a line. And I know, so we have this line where the white is. And that's where his smile's going to go. You can see what I'm poking in here. So what happens when I am poking around, I just kind of can visualize where stuff's going to go. Making his chin just a little bit more prominent. I might add a little bit more white right there. Maybe not. Maybe he'll be silly. Okay, so now we need a few black hairs. A few black. Let's get his mouth put on here. I always make them smiling. You do not have to. You can make yours however you want. That is the joy of creativity. Oh, Kenan, I had a glow stick update yesterday. For all of you that don't know, I'm a glow stick. I have been radiated so many times in the MRI and the CT. Oh, the sad news. It's sad. My sister and I were talking about this. The 5th fracture still in my neck, in my C1, the big one, still is not healed. Yeah. 4 of the 5 healed. The 5th one has not, because it was so big. So when you break your neck, mine was a burst fracture, which means I landed on my head and it exploded in 5 different spots because of the pressure. You know, it's like a ring. Your C1 is a ring that supports your head. You know, it's the most important thing that there is. Anyways, mine broke in 5 places, and the right anterior arch just is not healing. It has some fibrous tissue in there, but not bone. So basically, I'm a bobblehead. Basically, I don't want to get in a car accident because my head can fall off.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it really stinks because I'll say, hey, can I do this, Dr. Wagner? She's like, you can. Not recommended. Hey, can I do this? You can. I can do it. But my risk is big. My risk is big. That's why John handles the sheep when they need handled. So they're trying to find the source of my headaches. We did discover yesterday that where my scalping was, I have a lot of scar tissue, a lot. And that could be part of the problem. So I'm going across his nose. You don't have to use brown here. You could actually use like a pink color if you wanted. I am using black because I forgot to get some brown. But I might just put it there as a placeholder and then add brown. Now the eyes, I like my eyes to look like a little seed on these bunnies. So the eye goes, you have your ear in the corner of the nose, and the eye should fall right there, about 2/3 of the way up. So basically I just make a little indent, and then I take my little piece of black fibers, and you could actually form a little seed on a skewer if you needed to. So think shaped like an almond. His smile is just not good enough. Anyway, so that's my glow stick update. Sad. 2.5 years and my stupid thing still isn't healed. Moral of the story, don't fall on your head if you can help it. Oh yeah, Kenan, but I'm thinking about it because, you know, I'll forget. Joe Dinkowitz says hi.
Joe Dink.
Joe Dink.
Where did you see him at?
He called me.
I just called you?
He's called me
That's cool.
because a friend of his has some sheep and needed to know how to find homes for them. It's not actually the best time of year to find homes for sheep. So I gave him some ideas on what he could do, and he's like, oh, those are good ideas. So, yeah, but he told me to tell you hi. He did not know we were doing YouTube together.
Oh, yeah.
Not very many people do know.
Right. Dinky.
Yeah.
Joe Dink was a good guy.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
He's got quite the music business these days. So let's make this look better. Oh, wow. I gotta use my arm. I'm going to take a piece of my top coat and I'm going to fold it in half and I'm going to come down to the nose. And I know you're like, why are you doing that? Because I want this. I'm just going to add it in between his eyes and build this up just a little bit. And then I'm going to poke it all in. I know, who knew the face would take this long? Whoops, I need another little piece. The other thing you can do to soften up his look, like I said, I'm gonna get a little bit dark brown to make his nose. I don't want it black. So see, just by building up between his eyes right here, I just give him some more personality. Now one more thing. Keep saying one more thing. All that's left to do is put our flowers on, but I am going to make some little eyelids. They're not necessarily going over his eyeball, more so the eyeball sinks in. Okay, be careful how this eyebrow sits. Can make your bunny look really mean if you get it the wrong way. This jackrabbit actually has like Kemp in it, little short white fibers. They don't like to felt. See, it just softens up his look just a little. We got that ridge. And one more. This looks like a short project, but it takes a little bit. Takes a little bit. And like I said, I'm going to show you how I put the flowers on, but we are not going to sit here and do all kinds of little flowers because I've done them with you guys before, and I don't want to make you, I don't want to waste your time showing you something you already know how to do. But I will go through a couple of them. So I got this all nice and smooth. And our bunny's all happy. You can do a little defining right here. But remember, he's chocolate. They do have quite a bit of details on those chocolate bunnies, though, don't they? Some of them had candy bow ties. Can't believe Easter isn't until April 20th. Okay, so bunny ready for flowers. Gotta get all this white. I missed some white. Okay. Now, oh, we do have to put on his locks for his tail, but that's last. It's totally last. So now you have all your colors. And it can be random. I have locks. I have roving. I'm going to use this lock to make a flower. Remember, all locks are is roving, baby roving. It's baby roving that hasn't been carded yet. So I wing it. If you are not comfortable winging your flowers. And I'll show you in a minute what I mean by they take a bit. So I go out, I'm bringing it back. So this will be like an iris. It has 3 petals. Now I need to sculpt around. I gotta get it in there firm. This is tiny felting. So then I have some lemon lime I'm going to use as a stem. And I am just going to take it up. Poke it in. Is that the only green I brought over here? Here's a smidge of Kelly colored. Give it a leaf. So these don't have to be perfect, because once you get them on, it's like they're watercolor painted. Cannon really likes this neon orange, so we're going to use this neon orange. So when I tear this apart, what kind of flower do you want, Cannon? I'm going to go up front. I'll make a daisy. Okay, so a daisy, I would just take and you can put as many flowers on here as you want. So there's 1 petal. I usually do between 4 and 5 petals. Just depends on what the fiber tells me it wants to be. You don't need a lot of fiber to build these. If you want the little details to come out, you need not a lot. It's your poking and your sculpting that make it look good. So because this lock was variegated between the orange and the pink, it's gonna make a cool daisy. So then go back and gather up anything stray, poke it in the middle, and then poke an outline. And then I need, this one's begging for a yellow center. So like I said, I work on these for a long time. In fact, it takes me way longer to do these than to do the bunny. I had some purple. Do I want the purple? No, I think I want to make a little orange tulip. So I'll make a tulip. Tulips are, remember, you're just making a semblance of a tulip. It will look like a tulip from far away, because it's kind of like watercolor. So it's like a little cup. And if you use enough fiber, they'll stand out from the bunny, like 3D. This is 2D though. So once I know where my tulip's gonna be, I'm just poking around it. Then let's add a little base. You want the stems to be kind of skinny. They can even be black. So I have not had good luck outlining these flowers with black fiber. You can use a little alcohol, a little mini skinny tipped alcohol pen if you really want to outline them in black. The sky is the limit to the garden that you paint on these guys. And then you're going to come back and put them in the grass. And I can give you a good idea. Hey, where is it? Is it in the photo tent? Is there a needle holder in the photo tent? With a bee? Do you like that one?
Yeah.
Well, the reason I want to show them all the flowers. So I'm just going to go around this bunny with all these flowers. So something like this. So you can do daisies. You could do, there's tulips. Delphiniums, more daisies. Lily of the valley. Isn't this a cool needle holder? With his little bee. I just got a wild hair. What can I say? I got a wild hair. Because I made the hair first, then I made the needle holder. Anyways. So you're just going to want to keep going around your bunny. And then once you have your garden planted firmly with your needles to your satisfaction, and you can see it kind of sticks out. You're going to put his tail on. And you really don't need very many locks. So the key to putting on a lock, just start anywhere. Gather it up, poke it in. Gather it up, poke it in. Gather it up, poke it in. You're not going to felt the whole lock. You see how I just gathered it up? You really only need like 2 locks for this, depending on how big you want your tail. If you poke flat, it's going to make the tail go flat. We're really just attaching the curls to give a fluffy tail. And then, once you have your bunny done and your leaves are dry, you're going to go back and make them look like cabbage. So you can scrunch them up. They're better when they're scrunched. So I formed this one because I wanted the flowers to show. Wait a minute. And then come around. You could almost even fold it in half and come this way. Low. Whoops. Low. And then another one. So this bunny has 6 leaves. And then another one. And see, the one we doubled it on, see how good that looks? So I think the more leaves you use, and then just for a placeholder to show you guys, I haven't decided how I want to attach them yet. I could sew through here with the needle and thread and just tack them on. There's so many different ways you could do it. But this is what you get. And thanks for joining me today on our little spring garden bunny. I'm calling it garden bunny because he's a garden. He's in the garden, in the cabbage patch. So I hope you liked it. If you did, click like and follow us and share the video with your friends. Make the video with your friends. It's really fun.